Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing good. So today I'm back again with another repotting video, and this video is basically focused on using this old bonsai tray that I had at hand. So while I was cleaning out my terrace, so it was stored in a corner and I decided to use this tray for today's video. So it already has a soil in it, soil mix in it. It's a very basic common garden soil it has. So I won't be using it today. It's not a bad soil mix. I'm just not very fond of it at the moment. So I'll be putting it aside for maybe, reusing it for some other plant in the future. So it's a good bonsai tray. So today's idea is to plant a bonsai forest in it. So we'll be starting a bonsai forest. It's not going to be made with using established bonsai trees or trained bonsai trees. So these are going to be all new plants in it. So let's get rid of the soil from it. So it's been sitting empty for the past year or so. I don't even remember what plant it had earlier on. It had a little baby snail in it. So I'm just putting it back in the soil. So it's going to be stored away anyway. I'm not even sure how many drainage holes I have in this bonsai tray. It's and I don't remember how long ago I bought it. So that is why I'm clearing it out. There is this very chunky metally piece in it. It had a little bit of rust on it, so I don't know how it came to be in it. A little piece of plastic fiber. So I'm just putting it as is because whenever I'll reuse it, I'll strain it maybe, and then I'll check it and then reuse it. I won't be reusing it as is. So I'm not that worried of the storing bit, of how clean it is when at the time of storing, because I don't know, maybe I'll just throw it away someday, so I'm not cleaning it at the moment. I'm just looking around for drainage holes, so maybe they have been clogged with the soil. So I've just found one so far, so there's another one over there. So let's just get rid of all the soil first, and then maybe we can turn it over and see there are a lot of drainage holes. They're just not visible over there. And see over there, so it has 6 drainage holes, so it's going to be a good, nice draining pot. Let's unclog all the drainage holes and see how it goes together. So this last one was really, it had a lot of, a little small piece of wood in it. So yeah, we've removed all the soil from the tray now, so let's keep it aside. So I've saved it someplace for the time being, and let's see what kind of plants we'll be potting in this one. So if you've watched a few of my videos, so there's a video of me planting the same plant which we'll be using today. So that is going to be a juniper, and I went back to the nursery and bought a few more for this particular video and to plant it in this particular tray. So I did not share the price of the plant in the last video that I made of this plant. So it's a video of me starting a bonsai sapling. So that's the video you can watch, guys. I can maybe link it in this description, in this video's description. So I bought this plant for I think 50 rupees per plant. So it was a very nice deal, I think, and they're very good looking plants. So I bought 8 of those. So I paid 400 rupees for 8 plants, and we'll be using all 8 in this tray. I was not sure if I'll be using all 8, but I thought that I should have at least 8 at hand. If not, I was, maybe planning to use 7 or 6. But to round off the figure at the nursery, I just bought 8. That is how there's no like particular any other decision to me buying 8 plants. Just to round off the amount at the nursery. And we'll be using even some rocks for today's video in the pond, in this pot. So I had these 3 pots laying around in my home. So I used to own an aquarium, guys, and these are the rocks which I had been using in that aquarium. So I gave away the aquarium and I was left with these rocks. So these are coming in very handy, and it'll give a really nice look to the forest, bonsai forest. So I'm just figuring out how I should place the rocks and place the trees. I was really liking the look of this particular rock in this pot, but I was not sure how it should be placed. It had a little bit of soil on it, so I'm just removing it. I think it was like had an initial base structure, so it was really looking good that way. Yeah, and I already had the smaller one, although this was not as it was not as nicely shaped as the big one, so I was not sure if I'll be using that one. But this one, we had another option, but then again this would have been way too much of a rocky look. There was not even a lot of space left for me to plant the junipers, so I don't think I'll be using both the rocks. So just trying to figure out if I could use glue them or stick them together, maybe make a big mountain look. So here I finally realized maybe that was not a good idea, and maybe I could use the big other rock in some other project that I do in the future. So my final decision at that point was to just use this one rock and maybe just put it in a standing position so that it looks like a mountain. Now let's just try with a little bit of a placement of the trees. So I've bought these and very trying to not buy them in the same size. So I tried to mix in the size of the trees. So some were taller, some were a little bit shorter. So the tallest one I'm putting it in the middle, and like on the back side, these are the which I'm in my hand right now. These were the tallest ones, and the shortest one is closer to me. So this was the rough idea that I thought was looking good enough. So we have a basic idea of the placement of the trees. So we usually have to tie a bonsai trees, because even they'll be uprooted, they could uproot very easily. So tying them is a very good idea, just to make sure that they're secure enough and stay in the pot. But looking at the drainage holes, we won't be having that much liberty to tie the pots that easily. So to make our to make the decision easy for me how to tie them, I came up with this idea that I saw in some video a few days back of making a grid using some wooden pieces that I had at hand. So I'm just cutting this was supposed to be a trellis wood, so this is actually very sturdy, but I'm trying to cut it with a pruner right now, which was not a good idea. It was very difficult to cut it with that. So I only had that at hand, so I'm just using that for the time being. So we're making a grid out of this. So these two pieces are the longer ones, and then we'll place shorter pieces like this and make cross sections like squares, and we'll be securing them with a wire, just tying them. If you're making this grid, you can, there's no like a fixed proportion on how big or how small it should be. You can make as small as you want or as big as you want. So we have a final design now. So I had this bonsai training wire at hand, so I'll be using the thinnest one to just tie it from every cross section area. I'm cutting it to smaller pieces so that they go around the cross area, and we can just twist it around that area and it will be secure, because anyways it is going to be under the soil, so it is not moving around as much. So here I'm cutting small parts of the wire. So I'm just going with my vision, I'm not measuring it in any way. So it is just long enough that it just twists around the cross section area. And this is, I think, 1 mm wire, coated wire. So here I am twisting the wire around the area the pieces of wood are crossing. Using my pliers to twist it. And I had a little bit of an accident there. hold both the pieces with the pliers and just twist it around, and it will tighten up the wire. So we do the same thing for all the area the wood is crossing over. Just a little tie and it is secured. Again the same thing, hold both the ends and with the plier and twist it around. And here I think I twisted it a little bit too much and the wire broke. So make sure that you don't do the same thing. That is not that big of a deal. We can make another small piece of the wire. Here I'm just trying to make sure that the wires are secure and the joints are they're securely tied together, they're not moving around. And I'm just now being a little bit careful that I'm not twisting around it too much that it breaks. And here we have our piece all secured and it is able to hold its place. It's not moving around as much. So I decided to tie that grid piece that I made to the pot so that it is extra secure. And by tying it to the pot we will be making sure that the trees are in a way tied to the pot as well. So the grid will be holding on to the trees and it will be holding on to the pot as well. So it is going to be very safe tie for the trees because it will be having a security guard sitting on it. That will be that big rock, so the trees won't be moving around anywhere. So they'll be not getting uprooted in any storms that we get over there, any wind. So I'll be tying it from like two of the holes. So we don't need very long wire, we just need it long enough that it is coming out of the drainage holes and it is long enough that it is tied to the grid that we made. So we've cut a piece and we've made that piece come out of two holes and we'll be tying it around the outer piece of the wire to this grid that we've made. And I was just checking that the grid is not moving around after it's tied down. So now I've decided to fast forward the video a little bit over here because otherwise it would have been a really long video. So now I'm cutting the wire pieces that we'll be using to tie the trees to the grid. So I'm twisting it around a little bit and then just folding it to the side of the pots so that we have an idea of where the wires are. So I'm tying around 8 pieces of this wire because we have 8 trees that we have to tie. So I'll be placing 2 trees at the front side, which is closer to me in this video, and I'll be placing 4 trees to the back side where I'm tying the wire now, and then 2 trees to the side where I tied the wire for the first bit. So we have 8 wires ready, and here is a final placement of where the trees are going to be. So this is a like meshy piece that I found, so we can use this to cover the drainage hole so that the soil is not getting out of it. I don't really use this very much because most of my pots they have trays under them, so the soil is not going anywhere. Oh, you will only have a risk of it getting down for the first few waterings. So when I have trays under the pots, so the soil is not getting out anywhere anyways, so it's just a little bit for the first few times of watering. So we have our drainage holes covered in this pot, and I've put in a little bit of the soil mix at the base now. So now we'll begin with getting our plants ready to be repotted, and I thought maybe I should be making this video in a fast forward manner as well, because this is the same thing which I have already shown in the previous video of me planting. So this is the same soil that it had the last time. It's a very sandy soil mix, and the roots are coming off very easily. See, the root structure is already out now, just with a little bit of pressure, and we have to follow the same process for all these plants. See, in a little bit of time it's already out. How easy it was. So I thought that maybe instead of them just lying around, I'll just maybe secure them with the wire side by side only. So these are the trees which are supposed to be going to the side of the rock. So I'm just tying them with the wire that was already placed there. So this is why I had fast forward this bit, because this is going to be the same thing for all the 8 plants. So we already decided on the placement. We just have to get the roots out of the soil mix, and we have to just tie them to the placement which we have already finalized. I think they were not watered that day in the nursery, so this was a little on the dry side this time. I decided to move that one particular plant a little bit more to the front. So, deciding on the tallest one just with the placement part, so it'll make a good triangular shape. That the tallest point is in the middle, and then this height is declining on both the sides. uh, I did not secure that one enough. The others, I'll see, they're standing still with the wire. This one decided to flop over on me. And we are on the last plant now. Just getting rid of the soil and planting it, and I'm securing it with the wire over there. And I decided to place the smaller rock that I had earlier decided not to, because there was a lot of empty space in that grouping, and it was looking good when I was done with the planting of the trees. So I decided on just putting it back in there. So here I'm now putting the soil mix that I'd prepared earlier on. So this has a lot of pumice, orchid bark, perlite, a little bit of peat moss. Yeah. So I'll be placing this tray of bonsai forest in a shady area for the first couple of days, and then it will move to a sunny area, and it will be watered every day. So again, the soil mix is a very loose soil mix, so I'm just pressing it with my mother's old knitting needle again, which comes in very handy in all my potting videos of bonsai. So I'm just pressing the soil in between the roots properly, and so that it's settled down easily, and I'm filling in the gap which has settled down. So when you water this kind of soil mix, that makes sure that you're not using a lot of pressured mix, at least not in the first couple of weeks, because it could dislodge the soil, and it will overflow and it will come out of the pot. So you'll have to put back again and again. So water it gently. And here we are done with the repotting of all the trees in the bonsai tray, and we have a final look for the day. So I'm not wiring the trees and training them in any particular way in this video, because I want them to grow their roots for the time being and establish themselves a little bit. So we'll wire train them maybe in the next couple of months or so, after they've established a little bit. And that is the final look, guys. I hope you like my video, and if you do, please subscribe to my channel for more such videos, and thank you for watching. Bye bye, guys.